some of the toughest guys that you played against. The era, obviously the 80s with Bird, Magic, Jordan, Isaiah. You got the 90s. I don't know. I think you probably miss LeBron. You miss LeBron.
No, LeBron is which is crazy. My first year is LeBron's. My last year is LeBron's first year.
Okay. So you got an opportunity to see a lot of them. Who's the hardest to defend?
Mike and Kobe. I mean, from a guard standpoint,
yes.
I didn't have to go down there and defend Shaquille O'Neal or Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Right.
But Mike and Kobe, just thinking, attack every single moment on the floor, and the mentality, and the way they wear you down with their approach, would be the two guys I would say, and being in the Eastern Conference all those years, facing the Bulls and facing Mike, I mean, it was in our prime. We had every business to believe we were better. Those two guys are the front runners for me.
We know what he became. When you're playing against Michael Jordan, did you realize he was that good? And 20 years, 30 years later, he's still going to be talked about like he's talked about. Did you realize that when you're playing it?
Yeah, you knew it. You knew it. He was just a different dude. He was just a different dude. And like I said, we felt we were the better basketball team.
Right.
And you think about it, Scottie Pippen is an all-time great. Top 50 player, will be a top 75 player, is in the discussion for, when you're talking about the greatest small forwards that ever played this game, and deserves a lot of credit. Early on, though, he wasn't that Scottie Pippen.
Right.
He had to develop into that guy. Michael Jordan single-handedly won series. I can remember in 91, my last year with the Knicks, we were beating them up. We had physical guys at every single position, and we were
Charles Smith,
Xavier McDaniel. Charles Smith wasn't on that team, but we were loaded.
Yes,
and we were on a mission to physically beat them up. Michael Jordan single-handedly, and Tony Kukoc played good, Scottie Pippen played good, but the feeling of having number 23 on your team did something to them. He single-handedly won the series.
It's something about having a guy that no matter what they do, man, this guy here can supersede anything y'all do it.
Right.
Can have a team.
Right.
He can trump that by. He's the big joker.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what he is. He's the big joker. You can have the ace, the king, the queen, but whoever got that big joker.
Right. When it drops, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. And we went over it in the scouting report. We said how we were going to defend them. We said how we were going to send them in different directions. It didn't matter.
Right.
He had an answer for every single thing we put forth. And physically, he was more than willing to go through whatever he had to go through to win. All-time great competitor. The only guy that I would put in the discussion, because both of these guys, unfortunately, the late, great Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan, in my opinion, the two guys I ever played against that was willing to leave it all on the court. And I didn't mean it all. They were willing to, if it meant drop dead on the floor, those two guys, I'm convinced, would be willing to do that for the victory. Now, I would say this. As great as a competitor I am, that ain't my testimony. I want to win, but not at all costs. Not at that expense. I'm not willing to take my last breath and win.
You was in college when Mike was in college. Did you see that? Did you see Michael Jordan, the Mike Jordan in college, becoming the Michael, the MJ, the era, the logo? Did you see him becoming that in the NBA?
No. And I had a guy I grew up with in Kenny Smith.
Right.
Played on that North Carolina team. We played him in Madison Square Garden. And they talking about Michael Jordan, he's special and he's this. And we played him. I mean, he was very good.
Right.
He was very, very good.
Right.
But if you ask me that I think that guy would wind up being
that
guy, no. And who could?
Right.
But my goodness, he's a different animal. He is an absolute different animal, and a guy that. And you look at on another note, you look at all the greats, whether it be singing, acting, boxing, basketball, football, whatever. I think we sometimes take people like that for granted. And we don't show them the love that they deserve until they take their last breath, they close their last eye. And we should acknowledge just exactly what he's meant and put us all in position to be successful as basketball players, as human beings, and should be celebrated more.
You mentioned that, like the child, Michael Jackson, you knew as a child, as he was rising, when he became adult, And you knew eventually he was going to go on his own. He was going to be special. Like LeBron, you watch him growing up, middle school, high school, you said you knew he would be special. Some people, you just know.
You know, the first time you was on TV, I remember it was the other network. I remember, and you were watching and like, oh, somebody gonna sign this dude. You just knew it. I'm not trying to, I'm not stroking you. I'm telling you the truth. You just knew you had it.
Right.
And you have taken that opportunity and propelled it into now, making history on your own off the field. You know when special people have it.
Right.
And the people that you name, they have it. It should be recognized. It should be celebrated, not hated on, but appreciated.
You know what to do. Hit the subscribe button and become an official member of Club Shay Shay, where we do something before two something.